Meantime, Adelaide's Sam Berry has signed on for a further 2 years. Collingwood has locked in 4 players with new contracts. Steele Sidebottom will play on for a 17th season. Also recommitting Scott Pendlebury, Will Hoskin-Elliott and Jeremy Howe. To tennis, Australian Alexei Popyrin will face Novak Djokovic in the 3rd round at the US Open. Popyrin says while he relishes the big moments, not many people like having Djokovic on the other side of the net.
I enjoy playing on a big court. I'm sure it'll be Arthur Ashe. And I've never been on it, never even stepped foot on it, so we'll see how it is. But yeah, he's obviously the greatest of all time and a really tough opponent. I don't think anybody enjoys playing him.
That's sport. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Afternoon at St Agnes, a crash to look out for North East Road near Glen Avon Terrace. At Ottaway, twisted traffic light, Grange Junction Road near Eastern Parade. Bruce Water made a bit sluggish at North Adelaide at the moment. It's on Hackney Road near Bundy's Road with speeds at 40. And Door Park Goodwood Road closed outbound for emergency electrical works. That's between Grange Road and Ormond Avenue. Got a Camera Cottage lane at Hackham. The Barbecues Galore Father's Day sale is on now. Gosney portable pizza ovens, just $639 and gifts for under $30. In-store and online only at Barbecues Galore. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA forecast, sunny this afternoon, showers windy tomorrow 18, Saturday showers easing 18, Sunday showers becoming windy 18. Right now it's 21 degrees. Now let's check what's happening on 9 News tonight.
I'm Kate Collins. Tonight, warnings of a serious chickenpox outbreak in Adelaide South. Twice the training, twice the testing. Why it will be harder to get a motorbike licence in SA. How Qantas has taken a financial hit. The online tool finding affordable healthcare in every Adelaide suburb. And all the highlights of the spectacular Paralympics opening ceremony. 9 News, your news. Nightly at 6 on 9 and 9 now.
Suzuki is celebrating 40 years of Swift with an all-new Suzuki Swift Hybrid. So, book a test drive today in Australia's best value hybrid, the all-new Suzuki Swift Hybrid, for fun's sake.
If you're aged between 45 and 49, this news could save your life. You can now opt in to the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program and get a free test kit, which up to now only eligible Australians 50 to 74 could get. Bowel cancer is Australia's 2nd deadliest cancer, but over 90% of cases are treatable if diagnosed early. So, start screening earlier. Search Australian Government Free Bowel Kit and order yours today. Brought to you by the Jodie Lee Bowel Cancer Foundation and the Government of South Australia.
When you've been around for over a century, you know a thing or two. And South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White have almost 300 years between them. So when an alliance is formed between South Australian Business Chamber and Ray White Business Sales SA, all that experience flows to you. This ensures you're in top shape, whether you're buying, selling, or somewhere in between. Touch base with the experts. Search Ray White Business Sales SA. Proudly partnered with South Australian Business Chamber.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
Good afternoon. It's 8 minutes past 3 here on 5AA. Now live on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. So jump on and say hi and make sure you stay listening because I still have 2 double passes to the Royal Adelaide show to give away.
Helping you save a few dollars. Who you gonna call? Cost Busters.
Chloe McLeod is here in the studio with me, a dietitian with Verde Nutrition Co. Hello, Chloe.
Hello, Stacey. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Now, before we get into mood-boosting foods, I figure it fits in nicely with Costbusters because I've got some Royal Adelaide show tickets to give away. And the way I'm giving them away this afternoon is a competition, What Show Bag Am I? I've given away 1 clue already, 2 more clues to come. 2 more items in this show bag, and once I tell you to call, 8223 0055 is the number to call. If you tell me what show bag it is and you get it right, the tickets are yours. So, your second clue. I contain 1 broken window sticker. 1 broken window sticker. If you think you know what show bag it is, keep it up your sleeve for now. And when I tell you, 8223 0055 is the number to call. Are you a big fan of the show, Chloe?
I'm not going to lie, I haven't been for quite a long time, but we are planning on taking the kids on the weekend. So
Nice.
It'll be nice to take them, see the animals and go on a couple of rides.
They'll
Yeah,
love
it should be lots of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say the food. I know it sounds bad, but I do love a Dagwood dog when the show comes around.
Everything has its place. You know that I have
Yes.
no rules around that. So
Everything in moderation.
Exactly.
If you've got a question for Chloe, jump on the phone. 8223 0000 is the number to call. But I wanted to talk about mood boosting foods today, Chloe, because there was a recent study out of Deakin University about this.
Yeah. So there's the area of, we'll call it nutritional psychiatry, is exploding in recent years, and the Food and Mood Centre at Deakin is pioneering the research in this space. And there's a really exciting study that was published a few weeks ago on this exact topic of food and mood. And this particular paper, it actually looked at comparing physical activity and nutrition and people who were put in an arm where they received dietitian and exercise physiology assistance over 8 weeks versus a group which received counselling assistance with a psychologist. And what they found was that the exercise and nutrition group had better outcomes than the group who were in the psychologist group, and it was actually cheaper as well. So, we're talking cost busters here. So
Yeah.
I think when we think about it from a day-to-day perspective, and this is not throwing any shade on psychologists at all, by the way, I think it's a really important part of the piece, and people respond to things in different ways. But this particular study I think is really important because it shows that things that we do every single day that help us to stay alive, such as eating, can have a really significant impact on our mood, on our mental health, and as such, health outcomes. So it means that you're not necessarily needing to outlay costs or outlay any money in order to help with your mental health. It's just something which is going to be part of what you need to be doing to stay alive, in that by making better food choices, that's going to help you and in turn save you money as well.
So did they look into types of food? Because I could sit here and say, well, you know what food makes me really happy? A big bowl of pasta and then half a block of chocolate.
Absolutely. Short term, most definitely. Long term, we could dig deeper into that. But what this paper particularly showed was looking at the modified Mediterranean diet. So it's essentially an Australianised version of that. So a little bit more meat than what a traditional Mediterranean diet has, which I think a lot of the meat eaters who are tuning in would be happy to hear. But essentially, this way of eating is really rich in plant foods. So lots of fruit, lots of vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts and seeds, herbs and spices. Those things you guys have all heard me talk about a million times before by now, hopefully. And having a diet or food intake which is predominantly made up of a diverse array of these different foods has a really positive impact on mood because of how it impacts your microbiome and, as such, your mental health.
And so when you say maybe a little bit more meat than what the classic Mediterranean diet would include, is that any kind of meat? There's constantly studies coming out that red meat's not as good for your digestion as chicken or fish, and salmon's got the good fatty acids, and it's like, I don't know which one's the best meat to eat.
There's so much nuance, isn't there? Yeah. So I think if we're looking at it from a true Mediterranean perspective, salmon would be very much the winner in that department because of the omega-3 fatty acids that you mentioned. So they're particularly anti-inflammatory and great for the way your brain works and helping to keep your brain healthy. If we sort of zoom out a little bit, it's very easy to demonize meat a lot of the time because, there is studies that show it can increase risk of things like colorectal cancer. And that's been really well established. But having some, as well as eating plenty of plant-based foods, is actually really good for you, and also can be really nutritious in that we look at whether it's red meat or chicken or pork or something like that, they are really good sources of iron, B12, protein, a bunch of other nutrients as well. So yes, there is some negatives to them from a cancer perspective and a bowel perspective, but also there's also some really positives, big positives from a nutrient density perspective in some of these foods too. That said, it is quite small amounts, so 350 grams or less across the week. So it's not a lot of it, but it is incorporating it a few times when we're looking at it.
50 grams across the week of
of the meat. So
Red
this
meat
isn't
or-
including fish. This is red meat or chicken. So it's a little bit probably less than a lot of people are having.
Yeah, that's a lot less than what I would have.
Yeah. However, though, if we, rather than looking at and going, oh gosh, that's too much, what can I need to take it out. I really like looking at how we can build things into someone's diet to help with meeting their nutritional requirements. And rather than trying to focus on what to have less of, let's focus on what to have more of, so that you're meeting requirements of everything. So making sure that there is that at least 5 serves of vegetables, at least 2 to 3 serves of fruit through the day, incorporating things like your whole grains and your legumes more frequently, and building your diet around those things, and starting to think about the meat component as more of a condiment almost. And so it's not the star of the show, it's there as part of it. So it's there as a nice thing, but it's not taking up the whole plate, which probably all of us grew up doing. So.
Absolutely. I hope my yaya's not listening.
Yeah. Sorry, Nana and Papa, and I feel like you might be tuning in today.
No, it's good. It's what we need to hear.
But I think to come back to it, though, it does come down to eating those really nutrient-dense foods. So your fruits and vegetables in particularly, and we've spoken about it before, it's about 4% of Australian adults are eating enough vegetables on a daily basis. And, you know, I'm not going to be concerned if you're having a bit much meat, if it means that you're also in turn meeting your vegetable requirements. If I had to pick one, I'm going to get you to eat more veggies than eat less meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good to know. If you've got a question for Chloe, 8223 0000 is the number to call, and we'll be back in just a moment, and we'll talk about eating food for different events. And we're not talking about, you know, shredding for the wedding or shredding for stereos or anything like that. We're talking mainly for training purposes.
Absolutely.
If you're training for
you could be
event.
training for stereos. Getting your dance on.
Maybe. That's coming up.
Harvey Norman is your local air conditioning expert. Best range, best brands, best prices, guaranteed. Enjoy year-round comfort with great deals on Fujitsu plus bonus gift cards. That's right, buy a selected Fujitsu air conditioner and receive a bonus Harvey Norman gift card valued at $150. From small rooms to large open-plan living, Harvey Norman have the air conditioning solution for every home. Plus, for a limited time, bonus $150 gift card with selected Fujitsu. Don't miss this huge offer at Harvey Norman now. Conditions apply.
The Honda mid-size SUV stock clearance is on now. Get 8 years warranty and 8 years roadside assist, plus a $1,000 Ampol fuel card on 2023 build Honda ZR-V and CR-Vs. Visit us at Formula Honda to test drive today. Ampol fuel card offer valid until September 30. Different warranty applies for vehicles used for commercial purposes. T's and C's at honda.com.au. Hurry into Formula Honda. Find us at Glen Osmond Road, Glen Osmond, or North East Road, Modbury.
Not being able to communicate or remember things can leave you feeling isolated and disconnected. If you were listening earlier, you would have heard my talk with Amelia Griffin about My Mind Matters therapy, and Amelia's in the interactive lounge today for FIVEAA, so if you've got a question for her, 8223 0055. We were talking about the My Mind Matters therapy and the new apps enhancing communication, improving memory skills, and helping impaired and non-verbal people communicate and navigate their worlds in so many different parts of our life, for those living with autism, those with ADHD, or older people with dementia or getting Alzheimer's, even younger South Australians who need some help with their speech. Our lines are open to you, so if you do want to talk off air or have any confidential advice from Amelia, the number to call is 8223 0055. If you or someone you know needs to find their voice, you can ring now and speak to Amelia Griffin from My Mind Matters Therapy in our interactive lounge, or visit mymindmatterstherapy.com.au.
If your eyesight went from great to terrible overnight, you would almost certainly do something about it. Find out what technology is available, what products and services exist. But for most people, vision goes gradually. And with time, life becomes much harder than it needs to be. See Differently can make your life easier in ways you might not have considered. If you or someone close to you is making do with low vision, find out how you might see differently with the Royal Society for the Blind. Visit seedifferently.org.au.
When it comes to flooring for your home or investment property, including plantation shutters and blinds, you've got the world at your feet at Floor World. With locations north, east and west, Floor World has serious buying power. Save at Floor World on a huge range of flooring options, including wool and synthetic carpets, engineered timber flooring, laminate, hybrid and vinyl flooring. Whether you're an investor with a rental property or homeowner, speak with the experts at Floor World. Visit floorworld.com.au for a free consult. Plus, mention FIVEAA for 15% off.
Your baby's mind is growing even before they arrive. The more you talk and sing and play, the more their mind will thrive.
Every time you interact with your child, you're helping grow their mind. For more information, visit wordsgrowminds.org.au.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
It's 20 minutes past 3 here on 5AA. Stay listening. After 3:30, we're going to be talking about the turnaround times for Centrelink payments and Services Australia. This is the processing times for when you apply for a payment, how long it takes to process it and then give you a response. So we'll be talking about that, and I'd love to hear your stories. 8223 0000 is the number to call. But we're in the middle of Cost Busters with Chloe McLeod, dietitian with Verde Nutrition Co, and we're talking about different types of foods that can boost your moods. Hey, Chloe.
Hey, Stacey.
We've got a couple of calls, so if you have a question for Chloe, jump on the phone, 8223 0000. Mary is in Enfield. Hi, Mary.
Oh, hi there. How you going, Stacey?
Good. How are you?
Mary. My name's Mary.
Oh, yes. No, I said how are you, not who are you.
Oh, I'm good, darling. I'm just about to pick up my granddie from school.
Oh,
so,
beautiful.
I've got a rush, actually.
Okay.
I just had a quick question in regard to carrot sticks. I've always thought it as a healthy snack, have it with a little bit of hummus. But some of the young girls that I know say, oh, it's actually a carb. So would you say it's safe to have?
Absolutely.
And
that sounds like a delicious snack for you, Mary, particularly whilst you're waiting to pick up the grandkids.
Yeah, as much as you want, or would you be having it in moderation?
Well, I suppose it depends on what you're talking about from a as much as you want perspective and how much your body needs. But I wouldn't be concerned about the carbohydrate content of carrots. Yeah, there's a little bit there, but they're slower release carbohydrate. They're really great for your microbiome because the carbohydrates in carrot come paired with a lot of fibre, so really good for your gut. And then coupling that with the hummus, so that's predominantly chickpeas. That's absolutely fantastic. So please don't be afraid of it, and you can educate your friends and let them know that maybe they can have their carrots and hummus as well.
Yeah. Have you heard of people saying, oh, it's a carb, it's moderate carb?
Yeah, I have heard people saying that, and there is carbohydrate in there, but I think there's a lot of scaremongering around carbohydrate, so they're not all created equal. If you were saying Chloe, is having a sugar sweetened beverage, soft drink, something that I should be having as my afternoon snack, I'd say probably not. There's a lot too much carbohydrate in that. But having a whole food in that, carrot sticks with hummus, that'd be one of the best snacks that you could actually have. And it's something I recommend all the time. So please go right ahead.
Yeah, well, thank you. All right. Have a great day.
You too, Mary. Thanks for the... Oh, Mary, before you go to pick up your grandies, I'm going to give you the Wallace Cinemas family pass today, so maybe you can take them to the movies.
Thank you so much. That's fantastic.
No, that's all right. Thank you for calling and contributing.
I hear the Lion King's coming back, making a comeback.
Yes. Oh, well done to you.
All right. Thank you so much.
That's all right. We'll get those tickets out to you. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That's Mary in Enfield. She's going to get to Wallace Cinemas, Mitcham, Mount Barker, the Piccadilly, Noarlunga. Sessions are at wallace.com.au. Let's go to Trevor in Wingfield. Hi, Trevor.
How you going, Stacey?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Long time listener, first time caller.
Oh, lovely to hear from you, Trevor.
I just had a couple of questions. The first one, we're talking about food and mood. Now, I don't mind a pint and a palmy.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm walking to the pub to have that pint and palmy and walking back, is that still a good thing? Is that still exercise included in that?
I like it, Trevor.
How far are you walking, Trevor?
I would say it's about 2.5 kilometres each way.
Oh, yeah?
That's a decent walk.
That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. I'd take that as some exercise.
How
Excellent.
regularly are you walking to have your pint and your palmy?
It's every Friday night.
I have zero issues with that, Trevor. I think,
go.
you know, everything has its place, and particularly if you're going there, joining some friends and having a good time, you know, you're getting a 5K walk in there, plus,
Yeah.
you know, some time with your friends and you know, let's make sure you're not having anything in excess there, but, you know, enjoy yourself.
Absolutely. I've got a couple more questions if I can.
Go on.
I'm a truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind stopping for the odd meat pie every now and then.
Fair enough.
Want to get the summer rig out, obviously. So, what's some alternatives for someone that's driving a truck all day long? Something a little bit healthier than stopping on the side of the road for a meat pie. What sort of suggestions would you think of coming into the summer months?
Yeah, I love that question, Trevor. I think there's so many great options that you can have, and particularly stopping at a lot of the service stations or supermarkets, there's lots of really great things that you can get to grab and go now as well. So something like some yogurt, there's cheese and crackers. A lot of the places will have like a salad sandwich. Even choosing something like some fresh fruit if some of them have got those in there. Some of them have almost been set up like little mini supermarkets as well. So, you know, you could get something like some tuna, some of those sorts of things. It would depend a little bit as well on the place you are stopping and maybe how far out of the large centre it is, because I know that, you know, once you get sort of further north in South Australia or to some of the more rural areas, it's probably a little bit harder to get some of the fresh things that I mentioned. So I would be having a look at what's available in there. Check the label, see how much fat, how much sugar there is in an option. And you know, there's nothing wrong with bringing some food with you as well. I know some of my clients, they'll have like a little esky that they keep in their truck that they bring food from home. They'll pack it themselves. Maybe they might even get a ready-to-go meal that they can have as well. Hopefully some of those options are nice. And, you know, if you have an occasional pie, have an occasional pie. It's not about missing out, but, you know, just be mindful of, you know, if that's once in the week, have your palmy and beer once in the week, enjoy it. And, you know, if you're eating well the rest of the time, I think that you should be doing pretty well.
Excellent. I don't want to hog the lines. I've got one more question if I can.
Or if it's really quick.
Really, really quick. So I've been told, common cold, to drink bone broth.
Oh, this is a good myth.
It's a good
I don't know if it's a myth. Is it a myth, Chloe?
So it's an excellent question, Trevor, and something which gets a lot of airtime that doesn't really have any science behind it. So, you know, some chicken soup, great, you know, beautiful thing to have when you're unwell. But the soup is, you know, it's often got lots of vegetables added into it. So, you know, it's got your garlic, your onion, things that we know are really good for treating the common cold, as well as your other vegetables. Bone broth on its own, so, you know, getting some bone broth in a mug and drinking it. I mean, if you want to do that and you enjoy it, for sure. But I would be using the bone broth as something as a base of a soup rather than as something to just drink. But any science around it, you know, curing the cold, I'm yet to see a paper on that. You know, there's some claims about the collagen that's found in that as well, but the collagen levels can vary quite significantly in something like a bone broth. If you're having it to get collagen, I'd recommend going and getting a collagen supplement instead. And again, there's no real science around collagen and improving cold symptoms either. So, yeah, awesome question, though.
I can go back and tell the wife now.
Oh, no. We don't want to cause any marital issues, Trevor. We were just here to help you with some healthy food ideas.
It's always good to let her know she was wrong every now and then.
Oh, no. I don't want to be responsible for any of this. I'm hanging up now, Trevor. Thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call, Trevor.
See ya. Bye. That's Trevor in Wingfield. You solved some of his dietary questions. We may have caused some marital issues, but anyway. You take the good with the bad.
Take the good with the bad.
What is it you say? Everything in moderation?
Everything in moderation, exactly.
Thank you, Chloe. It's always fun.
Thanks so much, Stacey.
That's Chloe McLeod, nutritionist and dietitian with Verde Nutrition Co. It's time for the 3:30 news headlines now, but very quickly I'm going to give away the final clue for our show bag competition. What show bag am I? I contain one sticky splay ball. Call now, 8223 0055 if you think you know what show bag I am. If you get it right, you're going to the show. go, 8223 0055.
5AA Weekend Breakfast. Mike Keelan and Angie McBride.
Travel with Phil Hoffman. Would you believe that travel has just gone to new meteoric heights since COVID, back past where it was, I think, before? And the number one place or destination is, couldn't you guess?
Weekends from 6 a.m.
Fiji.
No.
Japan.
No.
South Australia.
No.
On 5AA, always Adelaide. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, Mel Usher with the latest news headlines. Police are looking for a dark blue or black Ford hatchback involved in a hit run with a cyclist at Modbury this morning. Up to 800 domestic Qantas flight attendants will receive a wage boost under a deal struck through new same job, same pay laws. The federal opposition claims more coal and gas plants are needed to make sure the nation's power grid remains reliable. And in sport, Alexei Poprin will meet Novak Djokovic up next at the US Open. The 5AA forecast, sunny this afternoon, showers windy tomorrow 18. Right now it's 21 degrees. We'll have more news at 4 and as it happens on 5AA.
Are you living with heart disease or know someone who is? No matter where you are on your heart health journey, no matter where you live, My Heart, My Life is here to support you to get back to doing the things you love. My Heart, My Life is the Heart Foundation's free support program for people living with heart disease and those caring for them. Receive heart health information, practical tips and guidance tailored to your needs. Take the next step to living well with heart disease. Join today at myheartmylife.org.au.
Tommy loves to fish, and he also loves his friend who has offered Tommy the use of his boat and trailer for a long weekend. Woohoo! But Tommy's little two-door Corolla can barely top 70 k's, and that's with a tailwind. Tommy's got a problem. Lucky for him, Avis Truck Rental Adelaide has brand new utes and dual cabs with big badges, and Avis can fit them with racks, tow kits, all the toys. Woohoo! Turn got a problem into not a problem with Avis Truck Rental Adelaide. Open 7 days, 416 Port Road, West Hindmarsh. 82415200.
When you think about it, Father's Day is all about one thing, being thankful for nuts. I was told to say that. That wasn't my idea. And you can guarantee that your dad will be thankful for his nuts when you gift him some of South Australia's own Charlesworth nuts. Stuck for Father's Day gift ideas? That old chestnut. No worries, Charlesworth nuts have over 50 gift hampers, baskets and bags to choose from, bursting with Charlesworth's delicious selection of nuts, fruits and chocolate. So show your dad, your husband or your granddad that you know him best by picking one and he'll go nuts for it. Check out the options and shop online, or you can visit one of the 12 family-owned stalls. Why Charlesworth? Because fresh nuts taste better, and they've proved it for over 90 years. Visit charlesworthnuts.com.au.
CMAX are looking for individuals to contribute to medical research. COVID is an ongoing challenge to public health globally. Now, local Aussies can get involved to help make a difference and trial a new potential treatment. If you're aged 18 to 60, you may be eligible to take part, and all participants are paid upon completion of the trial. Visit cmax.com.au and look for the COVID study to register your interest today. That's cmax.com.au.
Harris Scarf Spring Sale is on now. Save 30 to 40% off full-price bras by brands like Burley and Playtex, plus 20 to 40% off full-price women's clothing. Sale ends Sunday, 8th of September. Conditions apply. Harris Scarf. Great brands, great prices.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blowing up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. For fixed price services, call Precise.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Live, local. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
Good afternoon. afternoon. It's 26 minutes to 4. Stacey Lee with you on 5AA, live on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. So jump on and say hi. And some very clever, keen listeners heard it earlier. It's time for show tickets. Debbie is on the phone. Hello, Debbie.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Okay, did you hear the clues?
I did.
What showback do you think I am, Debbie?
The original idiot show bag.
What did you call me? Well done. Good work, Debbie.
Thank you so much.
The tickets are yours, so we'll get them sent out to you. You've got a double pass.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's wonderful.
Have fun. And if you're there during the week next week, come and say hi. I'll be broadcasting from the show Monday to Friday.
Definitely will do.
I'd love to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Debbie. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Debbie's won a double pass to the show. I've got one more double pass to give away before 4 o'clock. There's only 25 minutes to go, so stay listening. And if you want to book your tickets, you can do it at theshow.com.au, or you can buy your tickets at your local Foodland supermarket. But now we want to talk about government service payments and why the turnaround time and processing time for them is so long if you're here in Adelaide. Paul Fletcher joins me in the studio. He's the Shadow Minister for Government Services in the Federal Parliament. Good afternoon, Paul Fletcher.
Great to be with you, Stacey.
Thank you for your time. You're in Adelaide, loving the weather. Look, we've turned it on for you.
Beautiful day, and always great to be in Adelaide. I grew up in Adelaide, lived here till the age of 12, started out at South Downs Primary School, supported the Bulldogs, Central Districts, because if you went to South Downs Primary School, that's what you did, and it's always great to come back to Adelaide.
So you must have some memories from the show.
Oh, the Royal Show, absolutely. A very important part of life, the year in Adelaide, along with the old John Martin's Christmas parade, and so I'm always delighted to get back to Adelaide.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate your time, because when you sent me some of the processing times for some of the payments with Services Australia, this is largely through Centrelink, I was really surprised to see the table that you've collated. The turnaround time, why is it so long? I mean, 124 days, if you're based in Adelaide, is the average, I'm assuming, time to get the age pension.
Look, that's right. So these are numbers that we've got through Senate estimates and other processes. So if you apply for an age pension, you apply to Services Australia, they take some time to process it to work out if you're eligible. What we know is for Adelaide, for the local government area of Adelaide, that wait time is 124 days. Campbelltown, 89 days. Adelaide Hills, 97 days. Charles Sturt local government area, 93 days. But it's a similar story with some other benefits that you apply to Services Australia for. Disability support pension, 109 days in the Adelaide local government area. And this is a pattern we're seeing around Australia. So when we were in government, when the coalition was in government, if you applied for the age pension, on average, you were waiting 35 days. On average around the country now, for the age pension, on the most recent numbers that the Minister Bill Shorten has put out, you're waiting 60 days. So that's the average across the country. But as we've just heard, in some of the areas of Adelaide, it's much, much worse than that. As I say, 124 days for the local government area of Adelaide.
I guess it's probably speculation, but is it because we have an older age group here? Are there more people applying? That's why it takes longer?
Look, I think there are a range of reasons, but what we do know is that overall the service levels have really dropped very badly since Bill Shorten became the minister. He's been the Minister for Government Services for 2 years now, a bit over 2 years, and the waiting time for the age pension around the country has really got worse. The waiting time for the disability support pension used to be, on average around the country, you waited 40 days. That's now 81 days.
You can't say it's Bill Shorten's fault, though. It's not one person's fault.
Well,
there's a whole department.
There's a series of decisions that Mr. Shorten has made which are clearly linked to what's going on here. So one of the things he did was got rid of about 1,000 specialist information technology workers in late 2022. That means all of the hardworking people at Services Australia, who are obviously doing their best every day to help the Australians that they're there to serve, don't necessarily have the tools that they need. The computer systems are not being updated the way they should be. What we also know is that Mr. Shorten got rid of a contract with a company called Serco, which specialises in doing call centres, and there were several hundred people who were dismissed through that process, but Serco was delivering better response times than the rest of Services Australia. So some of the ideological decisions that Mr. Shorten's made, he's a former union secretary, he's very keen to have more permanent public servants who are union members, but the problem is the service experience for Australians who want to apply for the pension, for example, is getting worse.
I'm assuming that was part of a cost-cutting measure. If you're getting rid of people who are in the public sector, it's usually to save some money somewhere.
I think what's happened is Mr. Shorten has approached this in a very ideological way. He's put on more people. There are actually, on average now, about 2,000 more people at Services Australia than when we were in government. But at the same time as the number of people employed has gone up, the service levels have gone down. And one of the reasons that I say it's ideological is because he got rid of people who were clearly delivering outcomes, and the people he's added on, we've seen a reduction in service levels. Now, again, part of the problem is those people are being brought on, but the tools they need are not being maintained and updated. And so that means that ordinary Australians, anybody who needs the help of Services Australia in this cost of living crisis, that's a lot of people, they're finding a worse experience. And then the next thing that happens is, if you've applied for the age pension and you're waiting and waiting and waiting, you're likely to call up and say, what's going on? So if the performance goes down in the core business, processing applications quickly, the next thing that happens is the performance goes down in how long people have to wait. When we were in government, if you called what's called the Older Australians line, on average you waited 21.5 minutes. Now that's not a great time, but that's how long you waited when we were in government. Now it's 46 minutes, 39 seconds. So it's more than doubled. So in a whole range of ways, Australians who need to deal with Services Australia, really through no fault, I'd say, of the people who work there, who are very motivated to do their best to help Australians, but they are captive to the decisions that Mr. Shorten, as the Minister, has made.
So let's talk about these times. 124 days on average if you're in the Adelaide local government area, and that's to receive the age pension. If you're waiting for the carer payment, it's 87 days. Disability support pension is 109 days as well. A lot of these people who are waiting for these payments really need these payments. So do you have any advice? Like, can you... We know with the age pension, for example, you can receive that at 67.
Yes.
So should you be applying earlier? Should you give yourself 6 months? Should you apply at 66.5? Would that work?
I certainly think on these numbers, it's not a great idea to wait until the day you turn 67.
So how I'd want to spend my birthday?
No, indeed. And we know from the numbers that people have to wait a long time. So a bit of advanced planning would be a good idea. It's a shame that I have to be saying that to people, because people ought to be able to rely on Services Australia to turn around these applications quickly. I mean, if this was happening in the private sector, I have to say, the executive in charge would be sacked. This is not good enough. I've called for a root and branch review of Services Australia. We really need to have a very careful look at what is going wrong and why the service experience that Australians are having when they're calling up or putting in an application has gone down so much.
Does it get back paid to the date you apply, or
your eligibility is not a function of when it's approved, but when you make the application.
Right.
But nevertheless, there's uncertainty, because until you get it approved, you don't know if you're going to get it. And I've certainly heard stories of people who have been in very difficult situations, and they are now waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks to get approval of a benefit. And frankly, it shouldn't have to be like that.
Yeah, carer payment or disability support pension. I imagine if you left for 100 days, more than 3 months, going, will I get this? Will I not get this? Even if you do get back paid, can I afford to be doing X, Y, Z? Can I afford to be buying X, Y, Z? You just don't know if you're in limbo.
Of course you don't know, and it's human nature that until you can be sure you're going to get that payment, you're probably going to be very careful and very cautious. But there's no way that people should have to be waiting 124 days, 127 days, which is what you're waiting in the Adelaide Hills for the, on average, for the disability support pension to be approved, your application to be approved. And so this poor administration, this poor management is having very real human consequences. And of course, we know we've got a cost of living crisis. There are a lot of people who really need that support, if they're eligible for it, as quickly as they can possibly get it.
All right, so you've called for a review.
I have called for
If the Liberal Party wins the next election, what are you going to do differently to get these times down?
Well, one of our focuses is going to be making sure that we are servicing Australians in the way they want to be serviced. If you look at the numbers, about 1.1 billion interactions digitally, that's to say through your smartphone or through your computer, with Services Australia in the last full year. 55 million over the phone, about 10 million face-to-face, so where you go into a Centrelink office. Where people have the option to do it, they do prefer to engage digitally because it's quicker, you don't have to physically go into a centre. And right now, the evidence suggests that Mr Shorten is allocating people to the wrong priorities within Services Australia. So what we want to do is support the hardworking people of Services Australia so that they can serve Australians the way they want to be served, and so we can get these wait times down, and so we get away from this cascading series of problems where the longer you're taking to respond to an application for the pension, for example, the more then calls you are triggering into the call centre, and people then have to wait longer.
So I hear there may be more resources to online services and fewer resources in Centrelink offices. Is that the plan?
What we want to do is have people served the way they want to be served. So the first step is to have a root and branch review. And I'm certainly not going to be committing any particular way to approach this until we've had the results of that root and branch review. But the overwhelming focus has to be how best do we serve Australians in the way they want to be served. Of course, there will always be people who would prefer the face-to-face interaction, who would prefer to get on the phone and get an answer. And we need to make sure that that continues to always be an option for people who prefer that. But if you prefer to call up rather than do something online, at the moment, under Mr Shorten, because you're waiting over 46 minutes, on average, if you call that older Australians line, that's not a good outcome for you. So we want to be able to serve Australians whichever channel they want to engage with in the most efficient way. And the first thing we need to do is have that root and branch review of what's working and what isn't working so that we can improve the service levels for Australians.
All right, let's go to David in Athelston. He's given us a call on 8223 0000. Hi, David.
Hello. You're talking about efficiency of servicing us older Australians. Why do we have to apply? The tax department already know our intimate tax details, what our incomes have been for decades. Just give us that 67th birthday present in our bank accounts on the day.
Oh, hear, David. Yes.
And David, I think that's a really interesting suggestion. When we were in government, we were able to use what's called single touch payroll, which is a series of technology changes that the tax office made to then make it a lot easier for people who were on an income support payment to be able to demonstrate that they had not worked more than the required number of hours, because you were given a pre-populated form and all you had to do was click, yes, that's right, and you submit that. So there are great opportunities to use information technology better to make it much easier for people, so you don't have to fill in long paper forms, and so it's a much smoother, easier experience. Unfortunately, for the reasons I've given, because Mr Shorten has got rid of a lot of the IT people, that sort of innovation isn't happening. But the suggestion you make, with the right systems to back it up, there's no reason you couldn't have a pre-populated electronic option.
Thanks for the call, David. Really appreciate it. 8223 0000 is the number to call. And thank you for your time, Paul Fletcher. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Stacey.
Thank you. That is Paul Fletcher, the Shadow Minister for Government Services in Federal Parliament. It's 11 minutes to 4 here on 5AA. I still have show tickets to give away, so stay listening, and double pass still to come before 4.
Get a coach's perspective each week on the 5AA Sports Show when Rowie and Timmy G chat with Scott Camporeale for Coach's Corner. Thanks to Unique Homestyle Foods, proudly baking for hundreds of South Australian businesses for 35 years. See the difference.
Ever had the feeling you're being watched online? Scammers are always looking for new ways to con you. They're criminals and they're clever. But Australian banks have joined forces in the war against them. Intelligence sharing between banks will identify new types of scams faster. A new payment system to ensure you pay the right person is being rolled out. Unique identity checks will defend against identity theft. And there'll be more double checks when you're paying someone new. Australian banks are working to protect you.
The Advertiser is giving you the chance to win your dream international cruise to one of 5 incredible destinations thanks to Princess Cruises. Buy the paper today to find the daily code word. Go to winwithnews.com.au. Conditions apply. SAT 24/1060.
If you're aged between 45 and 49, this news could save your life. You can now opt in to the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program and get a free test kit, which up until now, only eligible Australians aged 50 to 74 could get. Bowel cancer is Australia's second deadliest cancer, but over 90% of cases are treatable if diagnosed early. The best solution is to start screening earlier. So opt in to the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program, now available to people aged between 45 and 49. Just search Australian Government Free Bowel Kit and order yours today. This is brought to you by the Jodie Lee Bowel Cancer Foundation and the Government of South Australia.
Baby, here I am, I'm a man on the scene.
Kia's most awarded SUV just got better with the refined 7-seat Kia Sorento. Now with a dual 12.3-inch panoramic display and Kia Connect technology. The Kia Sorento. Visit kia.com.au to find out more.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
We might all just be tiny specks of space dust, pinned to a hot, spinning rock. In a constantly expanding universe we don't understand. But at least some of us are doing it on Aldi's electric mountain bike. Just $769. And it comes with pedal assist. It's special you can buy at the Aldi bike sale this Saturday. Aldi, good different.
Adelaide Guitar Festival is back, September 12 to 29 at Adelaide Festival Centre. Join the biggest gathering of guitar heads in the Southern Hemisphere. Rock and roll with the Rolling Stones Review, flamenco legend Paco Peña, classical recitals, jazz visionaries and everything in between. With free guitar expo and festival talks, plus the return of Guitars in Bars. Guitar, it's who we are. Adelaide Guitar Festival. Head to adelaideguitarfestival.com.au for the full program.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
5AA Afternoons with Stacey Lee.
It's 7 minutes to 4 here on 5AA. Getting a couple of texts from you about those turnaround times for Centrelink payments. June 0448081395. June says when we went to Centrelink to apply for the aged pension, we couldn't apply unless it was 12 weeks before we qualified for it. I don't know if that still applies. Thank you for the text, June. I'm not exactly sure how soon you can apply for it either, but we'll look into that. And Andrea says, what a brilliant idea. She's talking about David's idea. The tax office already has all of your details, how much money you earn. Centrelink's already got your information. The government already has it. So if you apply, or if you, I should say, are eligible, why not? When you turn 67, just send you a nice little letter and say, you'll now be getting the age pension. Why do you have to go through an application process anyway? They've already got all of our details. I love that idea. All right, 8223 0055 is the number to call. Double pass to give away to the Royal Adelaide Show. And you know what? I've left these clues so late, I'm going to give away all of the clues now. So 8223 0055. What showbag am I? I contain a wacky spinner, stretchy worms, and click-clacks. A wacky spinner, stretchy worms, and click-clacks. Give me a call now if you think you know what showbag I am. I contain all three of those items. After 4 o'clock. Rowie and Timmy G. Stephen Rose here. Hello.
Birdie Beetle. Western Wagon Wheel. I don't know. Yeah, back from Scotland.
Yes, welcome.
I went over there for a wedding. My wife's still there. You can tell who the worker is. I was away for 14 days. Jodie's got another 3 weeks.
Good on her.
No, God bless her.
She deserves it.
She's heading around to Greek and Croatia.
Stop it.
God bless her.
Enjoy it.
You know what? There's no better place to come home to than Adelaide.
Yeah.
And when the wheels touched down, I did cheer after a 15-hour flight from Doha. A little bit fatigued, I must say.
Yeah, I bet.
Europe is fantastic. And this time of year is unreal. But it's expensive. Anyway, I learned how to fly fish, drink a lot of scotch, and wear a dress.
Kilt.
Yeah, I didn't put one of them
on.
on.
You didn't put it on?
Well, my daughter's married to an Irishman. The Irish and the Scots aren't quite close. And our Irish son-in-law, Eddie O'Neill, said, if you wear a kilt, don't come home and you'll never see little Rory again.
No.
So that was a fair reason not to wear a kilt at a wedding.
Fair enough.
This week is the calm before the storm. Port's final next Thursday v Geelong. We'll speak to Cats assistant James Rahili. He was at the Crows for a number of years, knows them well. Port will smash them Thursday. Cue the thunderclouds, please.
Stop.
Port
Do not
will
jinx it.
Rip 'em a new one.
Well, we hope so, but don't jinx it, please.
No, I don't jinx. I said that to Kenny when he was in here yesterday. Anyway.
That was a fun interview, by the way.
Oh, was it?
Oh, I was driving home. I waited in my car to get out
you?
until it was finished, and there was almost...
I told him to leave.
You did, and I was going to say there was a fake finish there. I thought it was done, and did he think he was done? Did he get up to leave?
Yeah, no, he got up to leave.
Yeah.
I said, if you want to go, go.
Yeah.
This is about the Sample.
Yeah.
David Kosh and 5AA
it was
Brecky.
so awkward.
It was the most disrespectful comment I've heard in a public domain ever about an organisation, least of all one you've played 150 years in, you've got enormous success in. Don't bite the hand of the master that feeds you, number one. And number two, don't forget your roots and where you've come from, Mr. Kosh. But tune in after 4 because I'm going to come off the top run.
Okay.
Respectfully, not. Caro after 5. Talking about implosions. What's happening with the Melbourne Football Club? Everyone wants out. Culture's the big buzzword.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Culture this, culture that, politically correct, all that sort of stuff. Here's the thing in any organisation, sorry, I know it's 3 to 4, there's 2 things to worry about. Field position, so that might be ratings or sales or dollars or success or up the ladder or winning.
Yeah.
And then there's morale of the troops. Morale of the troops you spend 90% of your time on, people.
Yeah.
So clearly down at Melbourne, they're worrying more about one and not the other.
There's an issue.
And they have what'd you say? An issue.
An issue.
Yeah.
There's a bit of an issue.
Say that again.
Okay, no, we got to go.
Yeah,
Issue.
okay, yeah, fickle. Bye.
Your
See ya,
issue
full.
is
Yeah,
I'm
bye.
running out of time.
Yeah,
Bye. Rowie and
bye.
Timmy G on
Yeah,
with you
right
after
you are.
4. But very, no, I'm turning his microphone off now. Very, very quickly before we go, Marissa is on the phone. Hi, Marissa.
Hi.
What show bag do you think I am?
I think it's the ultimate fidget show bag.
Woohoo, Marissa, well done.
Thank you.
Well done. You're going to the show. Thanks for calling in. You've got a double pass coming your way. Theshow.com.au is where you can get your tickets or your local Foodland supermarket. It's time for me to get out of here. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
This September, I'm walking 10,000 steps a day for cerebral palsy. With my best friend.